comes into the shelter belt and is filtered there. So to get a better understanding of what is going on here, how citizens are going to be affected negatively and positively, right? What exactly? Because people are driving and they're seeing a lot of movement. They don't understand what's going on because to some extent the road would have been affected in some ways. The road here, these lines go under the road. So for a few days or maybe a day, this road would have been open and lines would have been laid here, so it would have affected drivers. Whatever little effect that was, there was some effects. But one has to ask oneself, how does the effects of the works here be weighed out by the need and the demand for this upgrade to the system, much needed demand for the upgrade. Let's talk to the engineer. By the way, she's very shy, but you see she got a nice smile. So she's smiling to cover for it. Just give us an idea of what exactly is going on here in you know, technical terms.
Alright, I'll try not to be too technical. Alright, this project here is part of the larger project to replace the aged transmission and distribution network in Georgetown. We all know that Georgetown is the capital city, and some of the pipelines that are laid here through which the residents are currently receiving water, those pipelines in some cases are over 100 years. On average, they're between 90% of the pipelines would be between, let's say, around 70 to about 120 years old. Those lines have been giving us problems periodically. I'm quite certain many of us would have passed, especially on Church Street, and would have seen GWI periodically trying to repair
maintenance.
the
Yes.
Yes, because those lines are cast iron lines. They're aged, they're very brittle, and over time they're popping. And that was one of the main reasons why this project here was conceptualized and was deemed necessary and funded by the government.
One of the specific reason is I saw a comment by the mayor suggesting that there were no consultations, and when things like that affect the citizen, that become a worry for me. Were there consultations with the mayor and city council as it relates to the laying of these lines?
Okay, this project was conceptualized since last year, and it went out to tender early this year. I think sometime around February. Prior to the awarding and the advertising of this project here, we had consultations with most of the key stakeholders, namely the mayor and city council through the town clerk, GT&T, GPL, Ministry of Public Works, NDIA, that's just to name a few. We even, during the project conceptualization phase, we even would have written to the hotel, with them being one of the key stakeholders within the project zone, because we were aware that this project would have impacted their business significantly. As you can see right now, we're actually going.
This is their parking lot, yeah.
Yes. We also would have made contact with other stakeholders such as Pan-African movements, because we were aware that our lines, for it to pass through here, we would have been their site would have been impacted.
So just for you guys to understand, cutting you a little bit, so just at the back there is what's considered to be the Pan-African site. I don't know what documentation they have and so on, but most likely they have once GWI has sought to make them a part of their consultations. It's obvious they're important, and anybody who has things along the Merriman Malls, you're saying all stakeholders have been informed?
Yes, and a point to note, at one of the earlier stakeholders meeting, I know that the stallholders, they would be impacted in this project, and a meeting was held. As a matter of fact, it was organized with us, that is, with some of the key vendors within the section where the stalls
that is
are
between
being held.
Light and Common Street now.
Yes, and the meeting was chaired and held between us and the town clerk and the vendors. So some of the vendors, they are aware that they were part of the meeting.
Okay. So guys, you've heard it, and your designation with Guyana Water Incorporated is?
I am the project manager.
Project manager, and you're qualified engineer?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm a qualified civil engineer.
Woman, civil engineer, something to be proud of, right? Outside of what we are and here, very proud of that. You know, women could start looking outside of what is considered the proverbial box, right? You could start looking civil engineer. And right now I'm looking for a civil engineer to work with me. I would glad to have her with me. So give us an idea of, I spoke just now from my little bit of understanding, my research about the fusing here. Give us an idea. I've seen 2 pipelines of different sizes. Give us an idea what exactly is going on here.
All right. Typically, on most of the
Just come back this side so we can get in line. You show me. I see you got 2 lines.
Yes. On most of the network, we usually use PVC pipes, which are readily available. Those pipes tend to have a lifespan somewhere between, it can be as much as 50 years or longer. We opted in this project because of where it is, because of the nature of what is going to be required to use HDPE pipes. So these pipes are HDPE pipes. The lifespan of these pipes are in excess of 100 years.
Okay.
So once it's properly fused and properly placed, by the way, we have our resident engineer who's on the site all the time to ensure that these works are being done to standard. But once it's properly fused, it's creating like one complete line, not a jointed line like what you usually have with PVC with just a rubber gasket that's actually sealing the 2 pipes together. These here are more durable. So this here is the 24-inch trunk main secondary transmission main, primary transmission main, sorry, and this here is the 16-inch secondary transmission main. We're not close to any of the fusing machine, or I would have shown you, or probably with demonstration of the process, the process by which this fusing is done.
I can come back and do one on that. I think people would be very appreciative of the understanding. But you got 16 inches, you got 24 inches.
Yes.
What's the why 2?
This 24-inch, the aim of this 24-inch is to create a link, a loop around Georgetown so that, well, this here, I should first mention that this project here is part of the larger project. This project here, the phase 1, is from Shelter Bell to East Street. The aim is to have it all the way to Water Street. And I mentioned that to explain this 24-inch. This 24-inch is to create a loop, a trunk main loop that will be linking the network from the 3 treatment plants in Georgetown, the Central Water Treatment Plant, the Shelter Belt Water Treatment Plant, and the Sophia Water Treatment Plant, so that in the event of any unforeseen circumstances, water to Georgetown is secured.
That is creating a bit of redundancy in the system.
Exactly. We would be able to transmit water from any one of the plants to any part of Georgetown. So this line here, this 24-inch line, is really for that purpose.
Okay. Beautiful. And the 16-inch?
The 16-inch is a secondary transmission. This here would be providing water to the zone between, well, right now it would be the zone from Irving Street to East Street.
Okay.
Upon extension, it will provide water to businesses and residents further down.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Thanks. Right. So guys, you would have heard from the project manager of this operation of the fact relating to consultations were held. I would want to think the mayor might not have been deliberate, but what he said would have had an effect on how people see things in Georgetown. He might have been misinformed. It is not the first time. You clearly heard what the engineer on the ground here said. And just to give you guys an idea of the mix of that, right? So the line goes all the way through, and it's going to be going all the way up to East Street. That is as far as you can see there, because you see this, as far as you see this Common Street, the next corner after that is East Street. And what's being done is let's call this dug out here by, what we call this, a drain being dug here? A drain. So a drain is being dug here with this line is being laid through the drain. Right the way through. Actually at this time it's going through Sleeping's parking lot. Right? So I'm hoping that has brought a certain amount of clarity to the residents of Georgetown. and reassurance, because indeed, as the engineer said, I'll just pass in and see they're fixing some main or something gone wrong. Reassurance that there's an upgrade to the system, and it should be, I don't know how long it's going to take to have this upgrade, but sometime in the near future you could expect a more reliable supply of water from Guyana Water Incorporated, and by extension, by extension, the Ministry of Housing and Water. Thank you guys for tuning in.